Yeah, John, as you mentioned, some of the younger players currently on the senior panel there, the likes of Patrick Horgan and Cian McCarthy, who played last weekend. You're confident that these guys can still be important players for Cork going forward?
Yeah, I mean, there is in Cork. Look at Cork's success at, for example, the Cork Intermediate team are flying this year. That's a new team. They won the All-Ireland last year, and nobody from that team was allowed to play the following year. You add in the fact that they're not even from senior clubs. They can't have played senior championship in Cork last year. And these guys are flying this year. So what I'm saying is that there is a huge amount of guys that could potentially make the step up. Now, the guys I listed, maybe not all of those will make it. But what I'm saying is that the potential is there. Mm-hmm. But it requires hard work, and it's going to take time. I mean, it will take time. Like this year, Cork, you could argue, did very well until the last half of the league campaign. They were a questionable free away from a Munster title. The ball was actually saved. It was only on the rebound it went in. So they could be Munster champions. So, but that's progress. But it's still, there's still a long way to go to be in a situation where Kilkenny are. But what I would like, I would say the talent is there. And for those who say it's not there, mm-hmm. I would say, what are you saying? If the talent, if you don't believe that any of the players that we have in Cork now are not capable of doing it, let's give up. I mean, you either believe that you can do it, okay? You either believe that the talent is there, and I have no problem with people arguing, you go for A and B instead of C and D, that's fine. But you have to believe that some group or some combination can do it. And I believe that, whoever Dennis picks, whoever he works with, I think if he works with those, I think Cork will give it a show. But it's going to take work. If you watch Kilkenny, like TJ Reid, captain there under 21s last year, he's now only starting to make his senior impact. Mm-hmm. He's been on for a year or two. Richie Hogan is the same. They're slower bringing people on, but that's fine when you're going for 5 in a row All Irelands, that you have time to bring guys in. It can be a lot harder in teams who are looking to make a mark, where guys are not coming into an established team, and sometimes they come in quicker. I mean, Galway for years, have won minor and All Irelands, and they've thrown guys in who've done well in their first year, but they've never progressed in the same way that maybe people in Kilkenny have. Getting that mix is right. There'll be opportunities there for guys coming through the ranks, and I think it's a case of working with them, and in some cases persevering. You can't throw a kid out when he doesn't deliver the first time. I mean, any parent will tell you, like, the amount of times that kids make mistakes. You just have to get back on the horse and go back at it again.
Yeah, Seanie McGrath, perhaps winning minor and under-21 All-Irelands isn't crucial in terms of what happens at senior level, as long as you're getting a steady flow of good individuals coming through to the senior panel. But we probably haven't been getting as many of those as we'd like in the last few years.
No, I suppose not. I mean, if you look at, say, Cork were beaten in All-Ireland final in 2006, and the players that have come through, while they've all made huge contributions, Shane O'Neill, Owen Cadigan, Patrick Horgan, Paddy O'Sullivan, Isaac. That's 4 years ago, and you're still dependent really on the O'Connors, Tom Kenny, the old guard really, John Gardner, Ronan Curran, and maybe you compare that to even Tipperary, who I just as smally made out that they probably have since '06. I think at least 8. They've Maher Callan, Shane McGrath, Patrick Maher, Garrod Ryan, Owen McGrath, Michael Carl, Conor Manny, and I think I'm missing 1 or 2 more. And all those guys are making huge contributions to where Tip at the moment. So definitely, we haven't had the volume of player coming through that would cater for a retirement, maybe for a Sean Og or whoever. No, I mean, that's been the trend in Cork for a long time. I mean, it is a cyclical thing. I mean, I remember around 1990, say around the early 90s when Cork went to Ireland final 92, they were unlucky against Kilkenny. But after that, Cork went to the doldrums, and it took until maybe it was until 98 really that we had our first win against Limerick. We went actually 5 or 6 years without a championship win. And I mean, Cody has referred to that himself on numerous occasions, that where Kilkenny are at the moment is sort of a part of a cycle. And that's why he's so dogmatic and so determined to win every single game, because in the next couple of years they might find themselves in a bit of a pit themselves where they don't have players coming through. And I mean, in the 90s, I do remember Kilkenny weren't really winning that many All-Irelands. They were challenging in Leinster and they were challenging the All-Ireland series, but they weren't the dominant team that they are now. So they are in the middle of a cycle at the moment, Kilkenny, where they're just so far ahead of other teams. It's frightening. But I mean, going back to the underage thing, Paul, I'm in my second year now. Obviously with John, we're going into our second year, and we're hoping to learn from every year. And we had areas last year that we're really, really disappointed with certain players, and obviously with the way we managed the team and the way we coached the team. We're trying to learn from that ourselves, and we've opened up sort of a consultation process with people that were in the periphery with us, not necessarily selectors or anything, but just in the periphery that were out there looking at the training sessions and going to some of the games and going to some of the challenge games. And we've taken on board loads of the things that they've brought to the table. Some of them are positive and plenty of them are criticisms, you know. And I think that's maybe an important thing as regards the underage team. I mean, Brian Murphy, Martin Coleman, Paddy Cassan, all these guys, you know, they're doing Trojan work. But, I mean, they still need consultation. I mean, we've met with Brian a few times, and he's been asking us, you know, what are the deficiencies do you see in the minor player that's out there? And, I mean, for us, what we've been saying is their aerial ability, their ability to strike the ball long. We've got fantastic hurlers who are using a short hurling, and 20 or 30-yard jabs they're able to put into a fella's hand. But in Cork, get a young underage player to hit a ball longer than 50 yards and struggle. Ground hurling is gone, absolutely gone in Cork hurling. That's a trend maybe across the whole country and most teams, that the ground hurling strike is gone. But I mean, it was definitely it was a marquee trademark of Cork hurling that we were really, really good at the ground stroke. And I suppose the point I'm getting is that at least there is a foundation there with the coaches, the development coaches that are out there, so the Brian Murphys of this world. And if we keep the lines of communication, the consultation with those guys open, at least Brian and these guys are working with 12, 13, 14-year-olds with the Cork under 14 team, Cork under 16s. And at least, you know, the deficiencies that are there now, please God, when these guys get to minor, you know, they'll be stronger aerially, they'll be stronger on the ground, they'll be stronger with the ground stroke, a bit more intensity in the tackle. So I do think the foundations are good now. I do think there's a bit of bedrock there that we can work on these deficiencies. And while it is disappointing and it's obvious, you know, the underage hurling at the moment is poor, I'd like to think in time that we'll get there. Hopefully, put my own reign maybe next year with John and Ronan and Johnny and Jim. You know, our ultimate aim is to try and get an All-Ireland success for Cork at minor grade.